Chapter 6.1 Integers. Our objective today, I can use positive and negative numbers to represent quantities in real-world contexts. Yesterday we talked a lot about the real-world situations that we might find integers, which would be positive and negative numbers. We talked about money with bank accounts. We talked about temperature. We talked about sea level. There's a variety of different situations in the world where we use integers. So let's go through the vocabulary, make sure that we really understand what each of these words means so that when we use them in context of the math that we're doing in this chapter, that they make sense. So an integer is the set of whole numbers and their opposites. So whole numbers would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Their opposites would be the negative versions, -1, -2, -3, -4. An example here, 6 and -6 are opposing integers, but 6.5 and 6.5, or sorry, 6.5 or 6.5 and -6.5 or -6.5 are not integers because they are not whole numbers. So again, keep in mind that integers are only whole numbers and their opposites, not rational numbers and their opposites. So they cannot be a decimal and they cannot be a fraction. Okay. Positive integers are whole numbers greater than 0. That is a positive integer. They can be written with or without a positive sign. So we already know that if we write the number 3, we don't need to put a positive sign in front of it. We already know that that is a positive 3. Negative integers. So a negative integer is a whole number that is less than 0. They are written with a negative sign. Negative sign. So if we wanted to write the number -3, we would put a little minus or negative sign and then a 3. Opposites. What are opposites? Well, two numbers that are the same distance from 0 on a number line, but on opposite sides of 0. For example, the opposite of 1 is -1. Remember, the opposite of 0 is still just 0. So, an opposite is just a number that is the same distance from 0 on the other side of 0 on a number line. Plot. To plot something is to place a point on a graph representing the value of a number or integer. So in this chapter, we're going to be plotting or graphing points that represent a location on a number line or on a graph. Procedures. Okay, so when we are working with integers, here are some steps that we want to make sure that we follow. Procedures for plotting integers on a number line. First, we want to locate and plot at the center of the number line. Locate and plot 0 at the center of the number line. So on this number line, for instance, 0 would be right here. We would want to make sure that we represented that with a 0. Okay, remember 0 is neither positive nor negative. Number 2, count to the right of blank to locate and plot positive numbers. So we would start from 0 and we would work our way to the right for positive numbers. So in here we're going to say count to the right of 0 to locate and plot positive integers. To plot negative integers, we want to count to the left of 0 to locate and plot negative integers. Together, it says, locate and plot 0 and all positive integers 1 through 6. So let's do that together. So if we want to plot 0 and all positive integers 1 through 6. So this is how we would plot the number 0. So this would be 1. This is how we plot the number 1. So you're literally just putting a dot when you are plotting a number. You put a dot right on that line. Notice I didn't put it above, I didn't put it below. I put a dot right on the line. 5, and I had to make an extra line there because I must not have found the exact center. So this would be 6. So we have plotted 0 and all positive integers 1 through 6. On the back side, together. Okay, it says locate and plot 0 and all negative integers -1 through -6. So if this is 0, -1 would be here, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6. So if we're going to plot each of those points, 0 and all negative integers, -1 through -6, we're going to plot a point on each of these negative integers, 1 through 6. Like that. For the pause and try, they're pretty simple. I want you to pause and try to locate and plot 0 and opposite even integers. So all even integers and their opposites. Then the second pause and try, you are going to locate and plot 0 and opposite odd integers. So every odd integer until you get to the end of the line and their opposites. So you should be plotting positives and negatives. This one is even numbers, this one is odd numbers. Remember, 0 should go in the middle. When you are finished and you come and check it with me, then I would like you to grab your handout, which is for 6.1 practice.